We are getting stuck into the crossover on this Thursday afternoon, as we always do. It's all thanks to Hoops Capital. So Sydney Kings, everything's crossed for this game on Saturday night against Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, and you need some results to go their way. But the Flames are absolutely flying at the moment. Speaking of, they've got a huge game against the Southside Flyers on Sunday out at Kudos Bank Arena. $10 for adults, $25 for families to get in, and it's a say goodbye to Lauren Jackson, who's been an out-and-out superstar of the game of basketball. One of the another stars of the game of basketball, former Opal and two-time champion of the WNBL. Now a Flames assistant coach is Renae Garlepp, who is joining us in the studio. G'day, Renae.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hang on. There we go.
We're here. We're good.
We're there.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Hey, you would have played with Lauren Jackson back in the day, right?
No, well, we never really played together. We crossed paths at a few Opal's camps, but yeah, never actually played on the same team. But definitely was in awe of her the whole way through and growing up. So this Sunday is going to be pretty special.
Right. So you're now coaching, but she's still playing, and you're in awe of her growing up.
That's it. How impressive is that to do what she's done, to have such an incredible career, then step away, have kids, and come back and still dominate? Yeah, I don't know many people that could do that.
Okay. Greatest basketballer, male or female, this country's ever had?
Lauren Jackson.
Right. Okay.
Definitely. Yeah, no doubt there.
Yeah. All right. No, I thought as much. Hey, Flames, how's things going? Everyone we spoke to at the Flames, and this was, although we haven't, Guy Malloy's been dodging us during the course of this year, but everyone else, from players to assistants, they all said, so many new players, it's going to take time. And it feels like that's the way the season is playing out. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, I think a new coaching staff, new head coach, new players, it was always going to take time. I think at the start, having so many injuries from the get-go with key players, that was what took a bit longer as well. But I think all in all, we've been very fortunate with the personalities we've got and the work ethics of the players that we did have that. Yeah, it's been kind of fun to have to make it work each week and get the injured players back in. And, yeah, I think fingers crossed everyone's back and we're hitting at the right time.
Okay, so I was going to ask you about that, but also we had Kayla George and Tess Madgen playing for the Opals as well. They've come back because it seems like an age since the Flames have played.
Yes.
They've come back, they're fine.
Yeah, well, we haven't actually seen them yet because they got back late last night. So they had almost a 2-day travel back from Brazil. So, fingers crossed they're getting some good rest in and ready to smash it back into this week.
And so they'll play on Sunday?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic. I look at the stats about, what the Flames have done this year, and if you look at it from an individual level, it's Lauren Nicholson and Kayla George are just everywhere on the stat sheet. Is that a fair representation of how important they've been to the Flames this year?
Yeah, they've both had, great season and been incredibly important to the team. We've also been very lucky with Dee Dee Richards. One of our imports has had a standout year as well. Probably a lot of the things she doesn't really show up on the stat sheet, but she's just fierce defensively. Like a lot of the things we get done defensively is credit to her and how aggressive she is. And then, Paige Bradley's come along really well this season, our other import. And then through injuries, Emma Clark has emerged as, a great player, having a bigger role this season than she's had before. And I think everybody, through kind of us early on not finding the group that we thought we knew would get it done and things like that, everyone's kind of had a chance to really have their moment and improve, and that's always exciting.
You had your own decorated career in basketball and represented the Opals and WNBL champ. When did the thought about going into coaching strike you?
Oh, it's funny. I think it was just one of those things. I'd stopped playing and just randomly got asked to coach a school team. And then I think when I stopped playing, the fear I had was, like, where am I going to get that adrenaline from? And I'm so competitive and I love that part of sport. And then kind of started coaching and realized that you get the exact same rush, and working with a team is obviously the best part probably about sport, getting it done with other people, and then coaching still allows that, and I still get to challenge myself and be involved in the sport, and I've just loved it ever since.
A lot of people talk about when they make that transition to the coach's box or courtside, that when you're a player, you can have an impact, a direct impact. You can't as a coach. How do you find that? Is it frustrating initially? Have you come to terms with that part of it?
It's a few people have asked that actually. It's like people will ask, do I get frustrated? Can't kind of go out there and do it. And for some reason, it hasn't really. Yeah, I don't know. It hasn't really frustrated me too much. I I just love the challenge in the moments of, I guess how you can get the best out of people and help them in that moment. But thankfully, no, I haven't got frustrated because that would be annoying. So yeah, we're good.
Because you can't do anything about
Exactly right.
it. You mentioned school. You're sort of juggling between two at the moment. You're full time at the Flames, but give us the difference between coaching at school level and at professional level, or is there a difference?
Yeah, I think that it's funny, I guess, school level, and then I was able to coach a few state teams along the way, and then you go up the ranks to the WNBL. I think that the big difference that stands out is the consistent work ethic and just the little habits that are done all the time. That's
Right.
the little things that, the work ethic of getting in, doing the extra work and whatever it takes to become the best player you can be. And the intensity they work at, that's probably the biggest difference.
Yeah, right, which you expect from
Yeah.
the professional athlete. Speaking of that level of professionalism and work ethic, is there, might be hard for you to single someone out, but is there anyone that stands out? Like I look at and we had Tess in nice and early during the season, Tess Madgen, but her story of persistence and when things went against her and whether it was injury or non-selection or whatever it was, but you could argue she's at the best point of her career now, and certainly that from a representative point of view. Is there anyone stands out for you?
We've got so many in different ways because we've got a range of younger players like Emma Clark's just a gym rat and does everything all the time as much as she possibly can, and she's earlier in her career. And then you've got Tess, who's done it all and worked through it all, and she's as professional as she possibly can be. Lauren Nicholson goes above and beyond as well. And I do think that it becomes contagious. So if you've got a few on your team, then everyone just kind of follows and it becomes something that becomes normal. And I think that's what we've been really lucky with the leaders at the Flames. The younger ones or the ones that maybe didn't have that level of work ethic or hadn't been exposed to that type of environment before have kind of just jumped on and latched to it. So I'd say across the board, majority of them are really good.
Both Tess and Kayla said this, that they started talking to each other once they found out that Guy Malloy was coming to the club as coach. What are the things that Guy brings to the Sydney Flames?
He's an incredibly skilled coach. He definitely knows all his craft. But I think the things that I've probably been most impressed with him is his genuine care for all the players and how he communicates with everyone, which sometimes just doesn't get done in professional sport because you've got so many players that you've got to cater to.
Sure.
And I think he generally takes pride in developing them all individually, even throughout such a busy season, and ensuring it's a positive environment, which I think that's essentially why we've had the success we've had, but also I think while everyone at this point of the season, when sometimes it gets a little bit draggy or naggy because we've been hanging out for so long together while everyone's still peaking and really excited to be together.
Fleur McIntyre was our special guest last week, and I asked her the question. I'll ask you the same one. When you step forward at courtside, when the coach is looking at everything and you step forward as an assistant, what are you providing that coach, or what do you want to provide them? What are you looking at to help them with what they're doing from a coaching perspective?
I guess my job is I do a lot of the scouting of the other teams. So if there's just anything that I've watched or anything that I think they might do coming out of a timeout or going into the game or something that I've observed or a matchup that someone subbed in, and I think that we need to change who's marking who or if we've got an advantage anywhere, just that's pretty much it.
Okay. And the other thing I've got to ask you about, look, I work with Tom Garlepp. He's your husband.
Yes.
Right. There might be more relaxed people on the planet. I'm not sure that I've met them, right? So
You think he's relaxed?
Oh,
he has you fooled.
is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so to give you an example, we were going to air, I think, in 23 seconds' time, right? And it's like, where's Tom Garlepp? And he just wandered in, said, "G'day, mate. How are you?" I said, "Yeah, Tommy, sit down, mate. We're on here." So not a care in the world. But have I misread that situation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, give us some insight then.
Well, I mean, he's a redhead. Naturally, they're quite fiery, right?
Yes,
There you go.
yes.
I'd just say he's incredibly, passionate and fiery. And, I'd say for the most part, actually, you're right. With things that, are kind of on surface level and not too important over the top, he's quite relaxed.
Okay.
But then if you get in with things that, like with his own coaching or with his work, he can, definitely fire up.
Oh, it was a tough weekend for the St. Ignatius first five. I tell you what.
Exactly. That'd fire him up. There you go.
I had to shut down that conversation very quickly.
I bet.
Now, the other part about it, I read an article about you two, and this was back when Tom was still playing, and he said, yeah, she's my harshest critic, very, very direct with the truth. Have you carried that you provide direct feedback with your husband? As I think a lot of wives, certainly my wife, very direct feedback with me. Have you carried that through to your work with the players? Are you very direct in the way you deliver your message?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I'd like to think that, I definitely don't probably beat around the bush and like to be direct. And I think that, especially when I'm head coaching, I like to think that all the players know where they stand. Whether it's good or bad, you'll always know where you stand.
Yeah, fair enough.
I preferred that as a player, so that's why I guess I try to help the players out so they always have an understanding of what I'm thinking and what they need to do.
I think there's probably every sport on the planet is those people who deliver a blunt message, right? And this was so as a result of that, if you've played at a sport at a professional level, you walk into every other piece of work after that, and you almost crave that direct. Do you find that?
Yeah,
Renae?
yeah. It's funny you say that. Yeah, I definitely prefer it. I've definitely gone into jobs that aren't really the professional world of sport, and people will definitely feel my directness and maybe not enjoy it at the start, or I'll have to dim it down a little bit. But yeah, you're right, exactly.
All right, if you've got a question for Renae, let us know, 0457 736 736. The open line number, if you'd like to have a chat, 1300 01 1170. You're listening to The Crossover on SEN. We will get to the Sydney Kings. We might have a chat about the Kings after the break. But Renae Garlepp, our special guest. Stick around. All righty, welcome back. Renae Garlepp, our special guest in the studio. Righto. So just over there, you can see Renae, the big elephant in the room, right? And that is the Sydney Kings, who are obviously a big part of Hoops Capital, which the Flames are a part of. Does it have an impact on the entire organisation when the side is not, or one of the sides, the men's side on this occasion, is not performing as anticipated?
Yeah, I think because we work so closely and, we train next to each other and everyone's involved together. I think when they lose, you definitely feel it. And we obviously want the best for them. So, what they're going through now obviously isn't ideal. And, fingers crossed they can get it done on Saturday.
Looking at it from your professional lens, what do you see?
I see that they could win on Saturday and they'll get in and everything will be great and they'll just go get the three-peat. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that's it. That's good. Because here's the thing, and my knowledge of basketball is limited. Tommy's is great, so I lean on him a lot. But he talked about, the best of the Sydney Kings is really good. I mean, they obliterated Melbourne United, albeit at home, a couple of weeks ago. But the inconsistencies, and even inconsistencies during the course of games is the concern. Is fair comment?
Yeah, I must admit, Tom's watched more games probably than I have to comment on it all, but I think when they're locked in defensively and you've seen games when they're super gritty and they're fighting for everything, both offensively and defensively, they can beat anyone. But it's definitely the inconsistencies for them that's hurt them, and I think they've shown enough that proves they're still in it and everything can be great, but I think they've just got to, once they figure it out, to kind of hold on for 40 minutes. That's the difference.
Round 20 starts tonight, actually, so big games there for the Sydney Kings. They've got that massive game against the Phoenix on Saturday night down in Melbourne. You've got a massive game on Sunday, Kudos Bank Arena. Tell us about this Lauren Jackson testimonial. No, it's not a test. It's a thank you game.
Yeah, I think because they're not sure if she's playing next season, so this might be the last chance to celebrate her. She's from Albury, from New South Wales, so I think it's fitting that we can celebrate her and just pack out Kudos Bank Arena. The more people we can get there, the better. Cheering for Lauren Jackson and the Flames. So just Lauren from the Flyers and then the rest of the Flames. But it's going to be, what more could you want if you're a fan? Not only do you get to watch Lauren Jackson, but the game is both teams have to win. Must-win game for both teams and so many finals implications on the line. So it's going to be a cracker.
So Flyers have won 11, Boomers have won 11, Flames have won 11. It's all very tight there. They've got a few games in hand, though. You look at what the ladder is saying now, and based on what you've seen throughout the course of the year, can the Flames win the competition this year?
Yeah, I think in the last month, it's probably proven that anyone could win. I think that once you get that top 4 together, it's anyone's guess who could win. Which is super exciting if you're a fan. And then, like, if you look at the ladder, there's even Bendigo and Perth. So I think it's top 6. It could still make it.
Right. Yep.
So we could finish anywhere from 2nd to 5th,
Right.
which is with 2 games to go, which is pretty
remaining.
crazy. Yeah. So we just got to take care of ourselves and win, and we should be fine. But the whole thing's quite exciting, really.
Excellent. Fleur, as I mentioned, we spoke to last week, and she's gone from a coaching position to a general manager position. What about you? What do you see in your future? Do you see WNBL head coaching? What are your dreams and aspirations, Renae?
Yeah, it's funny. I get asked this one a lot, and kind of, I think as a player, I had all these dreams and aspirations, and I could have told you exactly what I wanted to do. But since going into coaching, I've kind of just, the mentality I've had is just take care of what's in front of me, do a really good job at that, and kind of just see what happens next. And I've quite enjoyed that approach so far. So, yeah, just rolling with that.
So would you be open to WNBA if an opportunity came?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, last year, gosh, if you were to tell me the year I had last year that I'd be involved with the Opals and got to do some of those opportunities, I would never have thought that. So I think if I can just continue to work on what I'm doing, continue to learn, and then whatever happens, I think I'd just be open to anything, to be honest.
It is great to have you in. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Also, we wish you all the very best for Sunday and the remainder of the season. And we also wish you all the very best with having Tom Garlepp as your husband.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I need it. Thank you very much.
Renae Garlepp there, our special guest, Sydney Flames assistant coach. Make sure you get out there. Kudos Bank Arena on Sunday. It's a special Lauren Jackson appreciation game. Tickets $10 for adults and $25 for families. Righto, let's break and then we're wrapping up the show.